Doctor on Call on Chicago's Essential Storyteller, WVON.
Mm. How are you? All right, we still having some technical difficulties, but we getting it together today. What's up? Good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of the U Chicago Medicine Community Health Focus Hour, right here on WVON 1690 AM, the Talk of Chicago. I'm your host. No, not Dr. Edwin McDonald. Twyler Jenkins, the executive producer, is sitting in for Dr. McDonald today. He got stuck in New York. There must be some storms hitting the East Coast. So, Dr. McDonald, we wish you safe travels as you come back to Chicago. Today is a great day on so many levels. I am running in from a wonderful walk this morning in the Bud Billiken Day Parade. If you all have never experienced the Bud Billiken Day Parade, you are missing something. And so I had to hurry up, finish the walk, get in my car, run downtown. So it's a action packed day, and I could not be more excited about today's show. Today's show is called Ready, Set, Learn Back to School Nutritional Wellness. And if you all know me, you know that I also have a women's wellness movement that's all about teaching us how to live more mindful. And today's show is going to help parents to be more mindful and caregivers to be more mindful about how they're taking care of their kids. It's back to school time. And so I am excited about having my guest today to talk about kids and teens heading back into the classroom. And something that we probably don't think about and talk about enough is what they eat and how they fuel their bodies and how that can make a real difference in energy and focus and mood and overall health. So, joining me today are three guests who bring real practical experiences from the home, the classroom, and the school cafeteria. I hope to have three guests. One is calling in. We have one call in. We have one beautiful soul right here in the studio with us, and hopefully two. Leslie Fowler, if you are not there yet, give us a call. But right here in studio, Tressa? Teresa, Coach Fannie Williams,
Yes.
certified nutritionist, health coach, and high school educator, founder of Create Your World LLC, and a health coach for U Chicago Madison Ingalls Power 180 program.
Yes.
I love working with Ingalls.
Yes.
All right. And then also on the line, sister, if I don't say it right, just correct me. Is Itiona?
Ishonia.
Ishonia, I was way off.
Hmm.
Ishonia, beautiful name. Ishonia Scott, a licensed holistic healthcare provider and founder of EM Delish or M Delish, a heart
EM Delish. Yep.
EM Delish, a heart healthy food brand focused on clean label, heart smart products, and community based youth cooking and wellness programs. Coach Fanny believes that when people have the right knowledge, they can make better decisions for their health. And today we're going to share strategies families can use right away, plus what schools and communities can do to support healthy students. So before we begin, I'd like each of you to greet our listeners and share a little bit about yourself. I'll start right here in studio. Go ahead, Coach Fanny.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. It is such an honor and privilege to be with you today. I love WVON. I know you do too. That's why you're chiming in. Um, I so my name is Teresa Fanny Williams. I go by Coach Fanny. I was named by my grandmother Fanny, and so my business name is Create Your World. And what that means is creating the mindset you want to live in, creating the world that you want to live in. There was a time I was 100 plus pounds more than I am right now,
Wow.
living unhealthy on many levels. And it wasn't just with food, it was with it, everything spilled over into my lifestyle. I did all the quick fixes and everything. And it wasn't until I changed my mindset that I was able to drop the weight and maintain a healthy lifestyle. While on that journey, I was encouraging people along the way because once I found to me what was the blueprint, because the other ways weren't working, I kept losing the weight and gaining it back. And I just felt terrible about myself. But when I lost it finally by doing it the traditional way, and that's with healthy eating and exercise. Because I kept running into the brick wall, kept gaining it back. I had irritable bowel syndrome. I was on the verge of developing ulcers. I had cystic acne. I had a lot of stuff going on, almost having type 2 diabetes. But when I started doing it the way that's been here forever, that's when I was able to maintain the weight loss, and I've started feeling really good about myself, started spreading the word. People were so encouraged by my journey that I started training them for free. And that's when my light bulb came on that this is a business. Let me turn this into, a movement. And I named it Create Your World because I had to create the mindset I wanted to live in, and I show other people how to do the same. So what Create Your World offers is healthy health coaching, nutrition workshops. We have our own wellness line, juices and supplements. Everything is all natural, just like you. The thing is, when I was using products that had chemicals and fake ingredients, that's how I kept showing up, and it wasn't sustainable. So when I learned how to do it the traditional way, and my prayer was to learn how to make healthy food taste delicious. My products are amazing. They're in a few stores throughout the city. My journey has inspired people to encourage people to reverse type 2 diabetes, to reverse hypertension, just so many things. Just boost your confidence overall, losing weight and just feeling good as a way of life. So that's who I am. That's what I do. I'm also a high school educator. I've been in education for 10 years, and I also work with UIC Ingalls for the Power 180 program, helping people in the community with everything that I just named right here, and just making healthy lifestyle an easy, sustainable thing to do, a way of life.
That is an amazing story, and
Yeah,
thank you for
awesome.
sharing. Isn't that awesome? Thank you for
Yes.
sharing. We're going to dive more into that. And today, in particular, how caregivers, how guardians, how parents can definitely help with cooking healthy for their children. And we have Miss Scott on the line. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. My name is Ashonia Scott. I am a licensed occupational therapist and a healthcare advocate here in Chicago and product producer, as Twyla has mentioned. So, my platform is all about heart health. Growing up, I lost my mom to undiagnosed heart disease unexpectedly, and it changed my world. Um, so I wanted to give something back to people to help them avoid the pain because I didn't realize that heart disease is the number one killer in our community. Every year, there are 1.5 million new diagnoses to heart disease related ailments, whether it's high blood pressure, high cholesterol, things of that nature. So my mission is to help educate children, young adults, and adults on how to eat properly and make heart healthy decisions for themselves on a daily basis. I created the products to give on the go consumers something heart healthy, clean, vegan, low sodium, mineralized, and but yet still delicious to make great meals for their families every day. So today our products are sold in Chicago throughout some stores locally here in Chicago and online as well. But the main mission is to get these numbers down. My mom died almost, 25 years ago. It's still the number one killer. So I'm trying to make an impact by educating in the community as well as giving, our culture as well as women and anyone that's affected with heart disease an alternative to some of the things that are out there that just aren't healthy, just to have a good something that tastes good. Sometimes we result to things that are just prepared in the wrong way, but there are heart healthy ways that we can do things and have just as much enjoyment from our food even for our kids, so that's my mission.
That is a wonderful mission as well. And I love how both of you ladies have taken your challenges and the things that you were dealing with and turned those into opportunities, and how now you are teaching others how to live healthier and how to live a better life. As always, I want to ask our Facebook friends to share the show and invite others to tune
Mhm.
in. If you have any questions or comments, call us at 773-591-1690. That's 773-591-1690. Be sure to keep those comments to 30 to 45 seconds so we can get everyone's feedback in as well on the show. All right, let's start with this first
Mhm.
segment. the back to school reset, building healthy routines that stick. So, we want to talk about helping families set up realistic nutrition routines for the school year without perfection.
Mhm.
So, mornings are smoother and kids are fueled for learning. I think sometimes, and ladies, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but even from Fanny, your story about sometimes we think that we just don't know how food really relates to our energy,
Absolutely.
to our thinking.
Hmm.
So, how you are fueling your kids in the morning before they go to school and even at school is so
Mhm.
important. So, when school starts back, what are the biggest nutrition challenges you see for students and families?
Well, time. Time is an issue. I can't hear it through here. It's okay.
Mhm.
Time is an issue. Um, Time management is the situation mainly, and just prioritization. Like, what is a priority, and education. So it's threefold. We're dealing with time. We're dealing with education. What do we eat? So you want that grab and go. You want what tastes good. You want what's convenient at the time. And so, unfortunately, we see children with the chips in the morning. We see the donuts in the morning. We see all the processed foods, and it's right there. It's easily accessible. Typically doesn't cost a lot of money, so it's right there. You have to stop it in the morning
Mhm.
at the gas station to get gas. Your kids are running in to grab, whatever they need, and they're filling their bag. And this is breakfast, a bag of chips, pop, all these things. And that's probably because, again, lack of education and time management. So, what we should be doing is rising early. Meal prepping is our friend. We can have quick, convenient, delicious food if we prepare in advance or rise a little earlier. So it's up to you, the consumer, to educate yourself, because what they're going to put in our face is all the things that they want to sell. If you want to sell something, you're going to put it right there. So when you go in the stores, the first thing you see is the colorful chips, the colorful bags, and we know that scientifically, that they've studied how our brains respond when you hear that crunch, that they, modify the chip to have the same taste. So that's why you finish the entire bag. So when we think of addiction, we're thinking drugs, we're thinking alcohol. No, it's food too,
Mhm.
because this stuff is manufactured for you to keep coming back. That's why our children are going back. And even adults are having the same issue. So the key is, the answer is, we have to rise early, we have to meal prep. If you're going to, because I do know some people can't get out, super early. They can't get up early, but everybody has an hour to prioritize to meal prep. And then we have things like Chat GPT right here in the palm of our hands. We can talk to that thing. I want to be healthier. My children are dealing with X, Y, and Z, whereas we used to just deal with Google all the time. You can talk straight to chat and tell it what your goals are. I don't know this. I don't know that. Show me how to do this. These are the foods I don't like, and this is what we're trying to achieve. It'll create a whole meal plan for you.
It will. And those are some positive things that you can do with AI these days.
Mm-hmm.
And so we want to make
Mhm.
sure that we're using not excuses, but
Yes.
Mhm.
opportunities. So even ask chat.
Ask chat.
I am
Mhm.
challenged with my time.
Mm-hmm.
How can I
Absolutely.
be better prepared for meal prep for my 6-year old, 10-year old,
Name it.
19-year
You can be
old,
Mhm.
right?
specific, because
Be
Yeah.
we
specific.
have so many people that have
Exactly.
shied away. Like, while we have a generation of people that have dove over into the AI world, we have
Mhm.
a whole category of people that are like, I'm not getting on that. I don't know what that stuff is. And I can understand it is foreign, but use it for how it can be advantageous to you.
Mhm.
And so when you're
Yeah.
educated to know how things work, that's when you can make it work in your favor. And that's one of the things I love, making challenging things simple and digestible.
Yes. And
Mhm.
I think that's what will help us get better. Miss Scott, what would you say? What are
Yeah.
some big nutrition challenges you see for students and families as we're going back into the school year?
Well, a lot of times in the morning, I see that the mornings are pretty hectic for families. You know, them getting the quick breakfast in. A lot of time they're buying these cereals that are lated in all these artificial flavors and colors, and just things that are not healthy for them to have a productive day at school. So, I would recommend, like Fanny said, maybe doing some meal prep with some smoothie meal preps. For families to for kids to consume. With some protein in there. With some good fruit for fiber to kind of keep them full through the morning while their learning sessions are in place. So
That
that
is,
would be number one.
yes.
because they're looking for things that are going to make be satisfying to them. And like
Mhm.
Ashona said, fiber helps you stay fuller
Mhm.
longer. We have people
Mhm.
that aren't going to the restroom and they don't know that
Mhm.
that's not normal. We are supposed to
Mhm.
remove things that are going
Exactly.
in, and we have people that are going days, and it's a taboo
Mhm.
conversation to even discuss it.
Hmm.
They think, oh,
Mhm.
I'm not going to the bathroom in public. Why not?
Right.
You
Right.
need to release
Mhm.
this. Why is it a
Mhm.
conversation that's not welcoming? It's okay. It has become okay for us to hold on to waste. We need to make this a regular
Mhm.
conversation
Oh,
Yep.
for sure.
because
Because
the
it is
Absolutely.
fiber,
something that you regularly need to do.
the
Mhm.
fiber is in the fruit.
It
Absolutely.
absolutely
It's
Yes.
going to
is.
make them feel
Yes.
fuller
Yeah.
longer, and
Yeah.
they're not going to be reaching
Absolutely.
for, once they start
Mhm.
really getting healthy, that processed
Mhm.
food isn't going to taste so good anymore because you can taste
Mm-mm.
the
Yep.
falsehood in
Yeah,
it.
we can definitely taste
Mhm.
the difference. I know fast food is
Mhm.
not my friend, and if
Yeah.
there's ever a time where I just have to for whatever
Mhm.
reason, it's just it's like one bite and then it's like, "Oh no.
Yeah.
It upsets
I
you.
will just be I will just be hungry because
Yeah.
this is just
So
not
true.
going to work."
Right.
But let's talk about the
Yeah.
fuel for learning and
Yeah.
that connection because
Mhm.
oftentimes, as I said at the beginning, we don't even know the connection
Mhm.
between food and energy and
Right.
how it fuels the
Right.
body. And especially when it
Mhm.
comes to our mental and emotional well being,
Absolutely.
what sugar
Mhm.
does, what salt does. So, ladies, explain a little bit, to a first grader, as they say, how do you connect food with
Mhm.
energy? What's the best way to fuel your body in a nutritional sense for energy in your body?
Ashana, you
Well,
can
I
go.
would say like yeah, I would say eating more fiber things like the fruit, and just different ways. Like one of the things I give my kids are like I got into these gummies, right? The ones that don't have the sugar in them, but the fiber gummies have been really successful in helping them to eliminate better. So a lot of times they're doing the smoothies and they're doing the fiber gummies, and they're into that, right? And it's helping them go to the bathroom more and make sure that it's the low sugar ones or the ones without sugar. And it doesn't hurt to have one with a little apple cider vinegar in it, and it just really helps them to eliminate better. And I find in terms when I'm giving them more fiber, like Fanny said, they're able to be more focused on their on their schoolwork, and that helps to increase their cognitive skills, and
Absolutely.
improve their math, improve their understanding and language development and their memory. So all those things play into part. It's just pretty much like, hey, you do this, you're going to get that. You
Mm-hmm.
eat bad food, you're going to get a bad result. You're
Yeah.
going to gain weight. You're going to be sluggish. You're not going to want to exercise or
Yes.
do physical activities. But when you do good things, you're going to build great habits to lead to greater things, which is in school plays an important part of increasing their cognitive skills,
Mm-hmm.
which is what we want our kids to do, right? So I just think that it all goes
Absolutely.
hand in hand.
It
Yeah.
absolutely does go hand in hand. And I
Mhm.
see that Miss Fowler has joined us. Are you there?
I am. Good
How
afternoon, ladies.
Good
Good
afternoon. How are
afternoon.
you?
You have to pardon my tardiness. Today is Bud Billiken, and you get stuck.
Oh yeah.
Listen, I said that at the beginning of the show. I was literally running in. I walked this morning with our wonderful Congressman Jackson,
Mhm.
and so I had to run home, get in the car, and run downtown. But that parade is amazing. But
Yeah.
welcome to the show,
Yeah.
Miss Fowler. Tell us a little bit about yourself as you join this powerful conversation.
Sure. So I have been in the school food industry now for 30 plus years. I've seen all of the changes from back in the day when we had Grandma Sue in the kitchen and she prepared whatever
Mhm.
she wanted, however she wanted it. And usually it was the way she prepared her food at home, all the way through
Mhm.
the changes with Michelle Obama and the Healthy Hunger Kids Free Act. where we focus on lowering sugar, lowering sodium, increasing fresh fruits and vegetables and whole grains into students' lives. I've seen the difference between when we first introduced brown. When I say brown, I mean like whole wheat breads and brown pastas to students, and they wouldn't eat it for us, and now it's a norm. So, I've seen the changes and the even the changes in our households in terms of what our families are making selections for as we do more nutrition education in schools. So I've been around a while. I've seen a lot.
You have been around for
Awesome.
more than 30 years in school
Wow.
food service management, including leadership roles at Chicago Public Schools. So thank you for that. And thank you for trying to help our students, our parents, our community to stay healthier because it is so important. So we talked a little bit about what parents can do and some of the foods that they should be providing in the morning time. What are some foods that they should absolutely be avoiding, especially first thing in the morning as you are sending them off to school? What is an absolute no-no?
So like Ashana
The
was
absolute
saying,
no-no is that cereal aisle at Walmart.
yeah.
And that's the first
That is
aisle
the
we go down,
craziest
right?
thing. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. I've seen gummy bear cereals. I've seen drumstick cereals. Why and how a parent could look at that and think, oh, my student, my child will eat this and this is something good to give them? Absolutely no. I would
And let's
also
let's
say
dive even down on that. Why is cereal so bad?
it's not that cereal in and of itself is bad, because a whole grain cereal with high fiber, tons of protein, great. It's the high sugar. Some of these cereals have 12, 14, 19, 25 grams of sugar in one sitting. The way the body processes sugar, anything over 6 grams of sugar, it spikes the blood sugar. It makes the student incapable of sitting, concentrating. It really does some damage to the body.
Let's
So we don't
repeat that again because I think that's an important fact. Sometimes our parents don't even know how to read labels and the importance of reading labels. And so it's not just that you avoid the cereal aisle, it's what you avoid in the cereal aisle. And
Absolutely.
if I heard you right, it is those labels that have more than 6 grams per serving in cereal are the ones that you should you should be avoiding because sugar, especially first thing in the morning, what does it do? Tell me again how it interacts with the bloodstream and how it interacts, especially with our children, and how that impacts their behavior.
It
A
spikes
lot
the
of times
student's
they're
blood sugar. Go ahead.
yeah. I was going to say a lot of times, it increases their irritability. They're not able to focus and concentrate for their school lessons, and they're more playful and talkative with their kids, and with their peers. And it's just, it really does impact their concentration
And as
when
we've
they're
seen
trying
it,
to.
they said it contributes to ADHD. A lot
Yep,
of
there
times
it
we
is.
have the children that are diagnosed with these behavior issues, but
Mhm.
really it's the food that's
The
contributing to
food.
their
Yeah.
behavior. It's
Mhm.
like we've all been saying, the protein and the fiber, but we have this heavy
Mhm.
amount of sugar, this artificial sugar, these artificial dyes. If you can't pronounce
Mhm.
it, you shouldn't be eating it. We need to focus on
Absolutely.
whole foods. And so
Yep.
again, it's the lack of education, the time
Mhm.
management, making the time. What is the priority here? We need to be paying attention to what we're putting in our mouths, because your
Absolutely.
children are coming home with these bad reports of behavior issues, and
Mhm.
it's likely because of what they're putting inside their body, and we're giving it to them either again because of lack of education, or we're not prioritizing.
So we got to make sure
I,
that we're not
yeah.
we're not adding to the problems, right? Especially if
Mhm.
there's already
Mhm.
diagnosis there. It's
Yes.
very important that you are paying
Mhm.
attention to. So we talked a little bit about food, and we know that that cereal is one of those go-to quick things, right?
And
Cereal and
pay attention
milk.
Mhm.
to serving size.
What about and serving
Mhm.
size? That's another good point.
Mhm.
Let's talk about beverages. Let's talk
Oh
about
boy.
what we are also drinking in the morning. What are some pros and what are some cons, ladies? Who wants to take
Yeah, we
that
want to
first?
avoid a lot of juices, right?
Mm-hmm.
Again, for the
Yeah.
same purpose. While juice in and of itself, in moderation, is not a bad thing. But for the same reason that we want to avoid the sugary cereals, we also want to avoid the sugary drinks and beverages. So
Mhm.
I've been in cafeterias where I've seen kids come in with Mountain Dew. I've
Mm.
seen kids come in with large bottles of orange juice, apple juice,
Mhm.
Kool-Aid, fruit punches. You want to avoid those for the same reason: high caloric,
Mhm.
high sugary cereal, things that you then add to cereal, right? So now we've got 14, 16, 19 grams of sugar in our cereal. We've added milk, which has its own uh, sugar content.
Hmm.
And now we're adding a sugary beverage on top of it with no real benefit to the body, right?
Absolutely.
So we
And
would
yeah,
rather them have a piece of fruit than to have a fruit drink
the
Yeah,
CDC
and I.
reported last
Mhm.
year that
or water.
the
Mhm.
youth age 1 through 18, on average, they
Mhm.
consumed 61.9% of their calories from ultra processed foods. So, and
Wow.
that goes with the juices, the milks, the all these things. So we need to be consuming more water. If we're going to have juice, let's try our, it doesn't take a lot of time to make your own juice. It doesn't, and it actually tastes
Yeah.
better.
Hmm. So
I'm.
let's go
I'm.
ahead. Hmm.
Yeah. I'll just say I'm recommending more smoothie stations in schools, right? With the
Absolutely.
fresh fruits, they can go up because kids want to be creative.
Yes,
Go up and make your own smoothie.
that would be
Have these
so
fruits
great.
available. Just some smoothie sessions, sections for them to go up and make their own
Yeah.
heart healthy smoothies. And so I just think that having the availability, like you guys said, the education about it all. A lot of times kids just don't know. They learn from who's teaching them. Sometimes the parents don't know.
They
So it
don't.
has been a big push recently in the news with food, with people becoming more educated and reading the back of the labels, right? So I do teach that in the communities about us being more educated and learning to read these labels, right? Your food, I had a manufacturer tell me, we can't change your products to heart healthy because we've been doing it this way for over 100 years. I said, well, I can't
Mm,
work with you then. I cannot work with you or utilize your services. So, that you have to make the conscious decision that this is what you want to do. You want to put clean things in your body, right? And so it just all starts with educating the parents, so they can help the kids better. And, the educators as well, making those choices and changes in the schools.
yes.
Absolutely.
There's
All right. And
Mhm.
I just want to remind our
Mhm.
listeners, parents, guardians, those who
Mhm.
may have questions or comments, call us at 773-591-1690. That's 773-591-1690. If you have a question about how you can help your children, those that you are taking
Mhm.
care of, to live healthier, maybe even yourself, just to eat better and live healthier. Sometimes we think
Mhm.
it's always on the go, it's what we grab, it's what tastes good. But how can you make
Mhm.
some changes not only to lose weight, but also to have a heart healthy diet
Mhm.
and a high
Mhm.
fiber and protein diet? So if you have some questions about food and preparation and beverages, give us a call, 773-591-1690. All right, let's talk about let's get into some myth busters, right?
Yeah,
Breakfast doesn't matter. Is that a myth buster that we need to debunk, ladies?
It depends on
absolutely.
what your
Breakfast
goals
is
are.
still the most important meal of the day.
It depends, but it depends on your lifestyle because some people they subscribe to fasting. Some people
Mhm.
it depends on where you are in your health journey. So
Yeah.
Well,
while
we're talking specifically about schools and children. Breakfast is still the most important. I would not advise fasting in the morning for kids going to school because a lot of times their schools are not even serving the first meal of the day, which is they may serve breakfast at 6:30 between 6:30 and 7:30 a.m. If you miss
Mhm.
that window, your child doesn't eat again until sometimes 11 a.m. So if you skip the meal, and depending on when you serve them dinner the night before, it is very hard. I can't tell you how often I see kids in the
Mhm.
nurse's office because they've got a headache, their stomach hurts, and it's mostly because they have not had any nutrition to fuel their day.
well,
Mhm.
and two, fasting has many categories. You can be fasting with juices, and you're right. We are talking about for children, but in the instance, as long as we're making sure that they're getting the proper nutrients, they do need. You're right. They do need to consume something in the mornings, but sometimes eating too heavily too can be to a detriment. If you're having a big meal
Absolutely.
You can be sleepy in
Mhm.
class,
Absolutely.
even if it's something that is healthy. If I can have way too much oatmeal, and now
We
I'm
talked about
tired.
that portion
Yeah,
control.
portion control. So
Yeah.
that's all of it goes
We
hand in
do
hand.
have a caller.
Mhm.
Maddie is with us. Maddie, are you there?
Yes, I just turned you on, and I didn't catch all of the show, but I definitely want to get your name, contact information, numbers, so I can utilize your services.
There are several of us on the several guests that we have today. We are talking about how we can help our children return to school with good nutrition. So we have Coach Fanny and Leslie Fowler, and I'm not gonna say it again.
Ashana,
Aishana
Hi, Donna.
Scott. All right, 'cause my sister helped me out. I
look at
feel
me.
like
I'm like, I
know,
feel like
Aishana
I'm
Scott.
like Ashana.
You did great. You did great.
So Maddie, we will definitely get that information to you. We're talking about how to fuel our kids as they go back to school to make sure that they are having a heart healthy and a very
Mhm.
nutritious start to their day, and also at lunch, because sometimes we
Mhm.
actually have to. We might have to let our kids take their lunch to
Absolutely.
Oh,
school.
for
May I
sure.
speak to
Yes.
that?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Go
Mhm.
ahead,
So
Coach.
my son dealt with asthma symptoms for
Mhm.
many years of his young
Mhm.
life, in and out of the hospital, steroid treatments,
Mhm.
everything. And while it did like mask the symptom in and out of the hospital, his immune
Mhm.
system got so weak. Every time he got a cold, he'd like get pneumonia and upper respiratory infection. So he wasn't having the asthma onset, but he had to deal with other things and he just didn't have the energy in a lot of instances. I was so defeated because I'm going to the very people that are telling me what to do. So I started looking up. I said, now I know before, and this is not me saying don't use medicine because medicine has its
Mhm.
place in the world for what it's needed for. But in this instance, as a mother of a child who was just over it, watching him be like that, I said there were remedies in the world before all of this came to be. Let me start researching what's out here. It can't hurt, just to try it.
Mhm.
I didn't know and I wasn't educated. No one told me that people with asthma with respiratory issues shouldn't consume dairy. He loved cheese. I was giving my son cheese sticks, cheese, whole milk, everything, yogurt,
Mhm.
everything, not knowing that this was making him sick.
It's
First
an
thing,
allergen.
it was
Yeah.
an allergy. I
Mhm.
took that out of his
Mhm.
diet. Fine. He's feeling
Yeah.
better. I started making his lunch every day. His school teachers were like, "Who will you make our lunch?" Because I started making his lunches be more alkaline, things that
Hmm.
had more
Mhm.
high water in it for him to digest it easier. But there was this other part. There are a lot of foods that have dairy in them that we don't, it's unsuspecting
And
because
allergens too, like gluten as well.
it's used as
Mhm.
a filler.
Right.
It's
Mhm.
cheaper to
Yep.
fill it with this.
Mhm.
And so he was still getting
Mhm.
sick off of things like different cereal bars or whatever that I'm thinking,
Mhm.
Are
but it's
nutritious.
it's hidden and
Yeah.
they can call sugar 54 different names. They have all these little tricks
Mhm.
Yeah.
that they can do.
Yep.
But if we don't know what questions to ask, then we never know. That's why you make sure you put yourself in the room with the people whose this is their job
Mhm.
to be
Mhm.
passionate and teach you about it. The consumer has to go where the information is.
Mhm.
If you don't know how to look, that's what we're here for.
And I think
And one tricky, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just going to say reading labels. We touched on that
Mhm.
earlier,
Mm-hmm.
that reading
Mhm.
labels, because that's something that we just don't do or know
No.
how to
Mhm.
do. And I think,
Mhm.
again, using AI might be beneficial to us to understand some of those terminologies. Because I think one
Mhm.
of you said that if you can't even pronounce the word or if there's too many letters in the
Right.
word, it's
Yeah.
probably not
Mhm.
healthy for you.
Yeah.
It's probably
Mhm.
not good for you. But go ahead. What were you
Mhm.
going to say?
I was going to say one tricky little word that's put on labels. Sometimes people see it and may think it's healthy is natural flavoring.
Yes.
Be careful with that, parents, because a lot of times we see natural. Oh, that's good. No, natural flavoring. A lot of bad things can hide under that category in the
Yes.
food industry.
Yes.
It's allowed.
And high
So just be
fructose corn
careful with
syrup.
that.
Now,
Mhm.
high fructose corn syrup is almost in absolutely everything. I will
Yeah,
look at a label to
ridiculous.
see if it says no high fructose corn syrup. It's in ketchup, it's in mustard,
Yes.
it's in syrup, it's in so what is that, ladies? Someone tell me what is high fructose corn syrup?
It's sugar.
Syrup with a lot of sugar,
It's
sugar
artificial
syrup in there.
sugar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
artificial sugar. It's
Everything
not natural sugar. It's
not natural sugar. Yeah.
artificial.
It's
Yeah.
artificial sugar and it's also an artificial substance that is not healthy.
Not at all. Not at
No.
all. And it's one of those things that's causing the addiction to that food. It's
Yes.
causing you to overeat. You have no idea the way that this stuff is created is formulated for you to want more. So here we are, we're thinking
Mhm.
that we're eating healthy, but they have all these ingredients in there that are making us keep eating this thing that's causing all these different types of illnesses. My skin
Right.
used to be in really
Exactly.
bad shape, but I healed my skin through food because I had to
Mhm.
take out. You have things like maltodextrin. It's in a lot of food. This stuff causes belly
Yeah.
fat. It causes
Yep.
cortisol in the body.
Say that word one more time.
Maltodextrin.
Maltodextrin.
MALTO DEXTRIN. You'll
That's
see
Mhm.
another
it.
you'll see it on the food labels and that's something else that you should definitely try
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
avoid.
If you're holding on to belly fat and you can't figure out why, read those labels. You'll see things like maltodextrin,
Yeah.
and it may be a healthy food, but you're like, but why is maltodextrin in there when it's connected to
Mhm.
keeping making you hold on to belly fat? You've lost weight
Mhm.
everywhere else, but you can't get rid of this pooch.
Wow.
And that's one
And
of
you
those
know, it's
Go ahead.
yeah, the high fructose corn syrup. It's like a mixture of various corn. What's
Yes.
corn?
Yep.
Yeah, simple sugars from corn.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's actually a byproduct. So again,
Mhm.
hyper processing. I would like to throw this out there.
Yes.
I'm an
Mhm.
advocate for school food, obviously, someone who's worked in the industry for so long and seen the changes
Mhm.
and worked directly with manufacturers on making differences. If you have a child at CPS who has
Mhm.
allergen issues, who has dietary restrictions, make sure that
Mhm.
you fill out a meal modification form. And I say this because meals are free at CPS. And so
Okay.
your child doesn't need your permission to eat at school. They will eat at
Mhm.
school if they eat with their friends or just because they see something that they may like. But if you
Mhm.
fill out a meal modification form, we have dietitians in every school district in the Chicagoland area who will take that meal modification form and they will make the appropriate dietary
Mhm.
changes for your child to avoid those allergens or things that trigger their system and their bodies. In addition to
Mhm.
that, while I was at CPS, one of the major things that we did was we took the top 15 highly processed chemicals found in bread,
Mhm.
found in cereals, found in our processed foods, and we went to manufacturers and said, if you put any of these items in the foods that you sell to us, we will not buy or purchase your
Love
food,
it.
right?
Love it.
So
Mm.
you get a healthier product that are absent a lot of these maltodextrins, high fructose corn syrups. I can't think of the one that was very popular in bread, but it's kind of changed in the last 2 or 3 years. The bread manufacturers are starting to remove it by law. They have a
Mhm.
certain time period that they have to, work through to get through it. But most of them are starting to
Mhm.
remove these items from theirs. Reformulated cereals was a big challenge for me. I say that because companies will promote a product like Fruit Loops is a
Mhm.
good
Mhm.
example. They'll promote a product like Fruit Loops in the store and say that this is a great product. We have regulations and rules in K-12 in the school food space that we could never sell a box of Fruit Loops as it stands. And so then they
Mhm.
do the 2/3 less sugar. It's a reformulated product, but they still call it Fruit Loops. But
Mhm.
they don't tell your parents that the Fruit Loops in the grocery store is not the same as the Fruit Loops served at schools. So I refuse to
Mhm.
serve the reformulated cereals for that reason, right? So don't give me a substitution and call it the same thing. I can't explain that
Right.
to my parents. That's not something that's reasonable. If my parents can't leave the school and go to the grocery store and buy it themselves, I'm not going to serve it. I'm not going to sell it to students. I'm not going to provide
Mhm.
it. So we have to be careful about these, what we call these reformulated products, and educate even our school nutrition teams around making better selections on the students' behalf and working with manufacturers to remove as many of
Mhm.
those items from the foods as possible. We want to eat as close to natural as we can,
That's
right?
so true, and that's
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
education meets
Mhm.
access, because we have to.
Mhm.
It's our responsibility to put it in front of the people. And like
Yep.
Ashana said, you know,
Mhm.
with the smoothie bars, I've seen schools incorporate the salad bars. I love that
Mhm.
so much. If
Yep.
there were, I haven't heard of a lot of smoothie bars, but just imagine this: you have the
That's a
Mhm.
great
smoothie bars
idea.
at the school, and
Mhm.
it's the same way as a salad bar. They go,
Yep.
it's like the ice cream shop. When you go there, you can
Mhm.
pick all your stuff. They can put everything that they want in the bowl, what they want to go in
Mhm.
their smoothie. When they get to the end, they say add the protein or whatever, and
Mhm.
then it gets blended up by the person that's running the smoothie station.
Mhm.
But they have the autonomy to make their healthy smoothie,
Mhm.
and we're encouraging them. And we
Mhm.
have the education right there for them to see. We have quotes of everything that people say.
Mhm.
We have all this academic stuff on the
Yes.
walls. Let's have the nutrition information. This is going to
Mhm.
make you focus. This is going to give you more energy. This is going to make you
Mhm.
feel more calm. This is going to,
Mhm.
talk their language, the things that they're dealing with.
Mhm.
When we can speak their language and they feel understood, that's how we get to them. But we
Mhm.
have to put it in their face, because we talk a lot about the teen trends and all these things that are going on, but we have to
Mhm.
come to them with solutions and not just keep complaining about what's going on
Right.
wrong. So we give them
Mhm.
those smoothie stations, and then it turns
Mhm.
into a household thing because it's fun
Yes.
at school. So now, like the doctor said, you go. I'm at the grocery store. This is actually something I can do at home now, because I do it at
Mhm.
school.
Absolutely.
Look, they help me make these smoothie bowls. Ma, let's grab this.
Mhm.
I eat this at school. Let's make smoothie bowls
Mhm.
at home.
Someone's radio
Mhm.
is up and you need to, there we go, turn it down. Thank you. I think I hear an echo, so I don't know if that's Miss Scott or Miss Fowler.
No, I
Okay.
don't have any radio on.
Okay,
Yeah, but that's how
perfect.
it goes over into homes.
Let's
Yeah.
that is that's such a good point. And they always say it
Yeah.
takes a
Mhm.
village. And I think it takes a village
Yeah.
for us to educate both our parents and the
Yes.
students in order for the students to be able to go back and educate the parents, because
Mhm.
generationally we just haven't been taught and it's
Right.
not something that we
Right.
talk about a lot.
Right.
Another myth buster, healthy
Mhm.
eating has to be expensive.
Yeah.
A lot of times we know we go in the grocery stores, we know when we're
Mhm.
in the checkout aisle, there's all this junk food, there's the
Yeah.
big old signs on the packages, two for $1,
Yes.
and all of the things. But does it have to be expensive? And how can parents choose things that can last, that is
Mhm.
inexpensive? But we know we got to make good decisions
We
these
do.
days.
Mhm.
Groceries
We
are
do.
not
They are
inexpensive.
not.
But how
Mm.
do we tackle that and that myth that in order for me to eat healthy, it's going to cost me more?
Mhm.
Well, ag- we're going back to that education again. We want to get
Yeah.
tapped into those people that are actually doing the thing that we are striving to do. We
Mhm.
have so much information out here now, whereas we didn't used to have this information. We have YouTube, we have podcasts, we have books, we have Chat GPT. Again, we have all these
Mhm.
things, and then we have the people in the schools that this is actually their job to educate you, but sometimes they're not. They're underutilized. Nobody's coming. They're
Mhm.
filling this job role, but people aren't coming to them. We have to take it to them. So healthy eating
Mhm.
doesn't have to be expensive when you have the knowledge of how to combine certain foods. We know fiber makes you feel fuller longer. Protein is
Mhm.
building, repairing muscles, making your muscles stronger. We know that we need our grains for our digestive tract. We have to teach from that lens, and so then we know how to make our plate. We have all these free videos where you can learn how to cook. There shouldn't be a soul in the world that doesn't know how to cook with these ABCs they have out here going on right now. So you make it a family affair. You take what is it that you like to eat? Let's do it around that,
Mhm.
and we can make healthy eating taste delicious, and we can feed our
Mhm.
family a couple of times. I have a thing that I like to do with chicken. I will buy a whole chicken, put it in the oven, bake it. I'm going to make
Mhm.
tacos. I can make quesadillas.
Mhm.
I can make salad. People don't like leftovers. You can do so many things with
Mhm.
that. You can do like if you have teenagers or young people, you can do the nachos. You know, buy the tortillas or make the tortillas. They'll eat the vegetables as long as you make it fun. You can make your own Chipotle bowl.
That is true.
Oh,
There's
for
a lot of
sure.
things
For
that you can
sure.
do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it's also how you
How
choose
you
to
choose.
do to take that one item
Right.
and use it in various ways that are
Mm-hmm.
nutritious
Mhm.
Yeah.
throughout the week and not the
Mhm.
same thing every day and
Yep.
and things like
Meal
that
Because
that
prep.
you
can
can
help with
sneak
that.
Mhm.
those beans in.
Yes. Yes.
As
Yeah.
long as it's filled with
Absolutely.
other fun
Yes.
things that they like, they'll eat it. And it's the same thing like with smoothies. You can get that
Mhm.
spinach in, you can get the ginger in, and we know
Yes.
how medicinal ginger
Mhm.
is. It's
Mhm.
clearing up the respiratory system. It gets rid of different bacterias in your body. It has so many medicinal
It's
benefits.
amazing.
It's
Mhm.
beautiful, and it
Yeah.
people say, and I'm going to say something. They say, "Oh, it's too spicy." But look at all the other things you take in, you consume. I'm not even going to
Yeah.
name the names. We can fill in the blanks. We can fill in the
Yeah.
blanks.
I
You can
Exactly.
think one of
consume
the
these things. You can eat a piece of
right.
ginger.
Yes.
And to piggyback on that, Fanny, I think it's like what you said at the beginning about mindset and education, right? So it all starts there. I think once we educate our kids and our families about why this is important and how different things we can do to make changes, I think people will receive it better,
Yes.
right? And then because it's easier to do when you know how important it is for you,
Yes.
right? And so I think that education piece is just really big for it.
Hmm.
I
I,
agree.
I would
Go
I
ahead.
would like to throw out the concept
Mhm.
of it's not that it costs more. What's really
Mhm.
happening is these are not things that I like as much as the bad things.
Mm,
Mm,
that's a good
And
point.
Mhm.
so
very
I
good
can make
point.
excuses for eating the bad things because we eat it all.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Whereas the family doesn't necessarily quote unquote like the healthier options,
Right.
but proper seasoning,
Yes.
um, preparation technique,
Yes.
being able to saute, being able to get a little char,
Yes.
making sure that you're using everything in the seasoning cabinet except the salt,
Mm-hmm.
making your selections a little healthier, but also making sure that they're flavorful. You will
Yes.
eat it if you like it.
Mhm.
Yep.
And
Mhm.
so finding ways to prepare those healthier items that appeal to your palate and what you're used to eating without having to revert back to the things that are unhealthy.
Mm-hmm.
I
You
think
don't
that
have to
goes
try
Mhm.
it.
I think that goes right into our next myth buster. If my child is picky, there's nothing I can do. And it sounds like Miss Fowler, you're saying you might want to prepare food differently or season it a little differently so that your child may
Mhm.
like it. And also, what about color? What about, I mean, our
Yeah.
how we use food
Mhm.
is how we see food. So let's expand upon that a little bit about how you can season or how you can prepare it differently. Give some advice on those ways.
So I,
I
I,
think.
I will give my own example for, I'll use myself as an example. I'll say I was, I had some gut health issues, got really sick, had to make some lifestyle changes, and I hired a chef that cooks that focused on vegetarian and vegan style cooking.
Mhm.
Not necessarily my choice of food preparation or preferences, but I'm trying something new. He gave me a half a sweet potato that he then stuffed full of other vegetables and some tofu and other meat, non-meat
Mhm.
substitutes. And I remember looking at it, and it looked like chili in
Mhm.
a sweet potato
Presentation.
bowl. And I remember thinking to myself, this is not going to go well. Because as a trained chef, as someone who
Mhm. Mhm.
works with food every day, the concept of this sweet potato with this protein kind of chili
Mhm.
looking thing sitting on top of it just did not work in my brain. But on my
Mhm.
palate, it was amazing.
Mm.
So we have to be willing to try new things. We have to be willing to seek out
Mhm.
new recipes and
Yeah.
ways to use the foods that are available to us and to shop only. And I also recommend that we shop a few more days of the week as opposed to shopping once a week.
Absolutely. And you
You'll
Mhm.
can
have
make
less
that a
waste.
family affair. It
Yes,
when you
you'll have
have
less waste.
yes, when you do that, you go to the store several times. It becomes a family affair when you involve everyone. So
Mhm.
make going to the grocery store something fun to do. Make them feel included, And when you're cooking, people have a role in the kitchen. If you're the only person in the kitchen and it feels like, surprise, surprise, what's she about to make us eat now, kind of thing. But if I have you in
Mhm.
there washing, if I have you in there chopping, if we're talking about it, well, okay, so what I'd like for you to do is look up some recipes on this, and you let them choose and make them feel like they are leading the charge, because they're the ones that we're trying to do this together. So
Hmm.
make them feel as
Mhm.
included as possible, and we learn together. So yes, it may be convenient for me to stop at the grocery store after I get off work. You know what? I'm just going to have to stop at home first and pick up the kids, and we have to go together. But that's where the planning comes into play, because if the goal is for all of us to be healthy, we need to do it together. Because if I'm the only one running the show, it feels like you're making me do something.
I
Mhm.
think that's a very
Yeah.
good point. And I think, again, the goal of all of us being healthy has to start there, because type 2
Mhm.
diabetes, heart disease, breast
Mhm.
cancer, all of these chronic conditions really
Mhm.
are stress related. And even our kids are dealing with so much more
They
stress
are.
these
Mhm.
days
Yes.
because of
Yes.
social media and
Mm-hmm.
because of peer
Mhm.
pressure and all of these things. So even
Mhm.
how nutrition ties to their mental and
Mhm.
emotional
Yeah.
health. We talked
Mhm.
about, their agitation or their energy levels in the morning time, but also just
Mhm.
the social pressure that
Mm-hmm.
they're dealing with
Yes.
and how food
Mhm.
relates to their mental and emotional
Mhm.
health. Is there a connection there?
Yeah. There is,
Oh, totally.
yeah,
Yeah.
the dyes, the chemicals. I mean,
Yep.
if you look on the back of a cleaning product, they tell you right there, this could kill you. This is dangerous. Call 911 immediately if you X, Y, and Z. Well, we have chemicals in a lot of food. What do we think that
Oh,
is?
for sure.
Yeah.
When I was creating my products, I realized and doing research, there are a lot of popular brands still on the store shelves today, salad dressing marinades that have same stuff they put in grass fertilizer.
Yes.
That's in the salad
Wow.
dressings. It blew my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
Wow.
what?
They
So
c- they
yeah,
they put
it's
in
just
asbestos, small amounts of asbestos inside of food as a filler, because
unbelievable. Yeah,
lawfully, if you only put this small percentage in, then it's still legal.
it's
But
legal.
but what
Yeah.
if I eat the entire bag? That's
Mhm.
where the health concern comes in. And normally, you've put so many
Mhm.
things in there that are going to make me want to keep eating it. Now, I don't know. I'm the consumer. I don't know that these fillers
Mhm.
are in there, because you can stretch the product if you fill it with artificial things. My
And guess
serving
what that
size,
little word is, Fanny? Guess what that little word is
what
that they put them under? Natural flavoring.
isn't that the truth?
Yeah, natural flavoring, and
Natural
and
flavoring.
then there's some
Yep.
other things I think sometimes we still do have to watch our labels. Ladies, we are starting to
Mhm.
run out of time already. It is
Tag. This
five
was
minutes. I
fun.
know, and we're really still in segment one. But as we come to a close about school nutrition and wellness, I
Mhm.
just want each of you to share what's your advice to parents, to guardians, to caretakers, foster parents, just those who are with their children in the morning time, if you're trying to send them off with I think this is the most important time. Every meal is important. Making sure that your
Mhm.
children
Yeah.
eat, making sure that they're nourished, and they're eating
Mhm.
the right things. And I also want to. We didn't really get to talk about it, but for kids, there's so many children that's diagnosed with ADHD.
Yes.
And in
Mhm.
food and nutrition, you were talking about your son having asthma,
Mhm.
and we don't know enough. My sister had to do her own research with her
Mhm.
grandson about food and nutrition
Yes.
with his
Mhm.
diagnosis, and oftentimes schools don't even make that connection.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want each of
Yeah.
you to do a round robin on what do you think is the best advice, or what's most important for parents,
Mhm.
guardians, those who are taking care of school age children. What's most important to remember and to help them this school year? Fanny, I'll start with you.
Fuel in the morning. Um, the smoothie bowl idea, perfection, because we can freeze our
Mhm.
portions. We can make
Mhm.
this again a family affair. It doesn't take a long time. We can freeze our
Mhm.
bananas. You think your
Yep.
bananas are going bad, freeze it. Make your
Mm-hmm.
Ziploc bag, make you 5 smoothie Ziploc bags. You put your handful of spinach in there, you put your strawberries in there, you put all whatever berries you want in there, whatever
Mm-hmm.
you want to go in that little baggie, you put it in there, you freeze it. So in the morning, all you're doing is
Mm-hmm.
dumping, adding water or your almond milk or whatever nut
Mm-hmm.
milk that you want to use, or both, coconut water. Boom, you're out the door. You all are riding in the
Mm-hmm.
car with your smoothies and some straws.
Yep.
Done,
That's
one and done.
excellent.
And then even with
Mm-hmm.
the meal prep, we are taking our healthy proteins. We can cook that in abundance for the week. We can portion it up, or you can cook it for a couple of days. Do 3 days at a time. Put it in your Tupperware bowls. Put it in the refrigerator. You can cut up your veggies. Put that in the refrigerator. Have everything done, but your preparation is your friend. So throughout the week, we can make multiple meals out of this healthy
Mm-hmm.
protein, these grains, this rice that we're using, whatever our sweet potatoes. We can get so fancy in that kitchen. We can make our
Mm-hmm.
chipotle bowls. Like, Canes don't have anything on
What you
what
can
you
do
can
at
do in
home.
your kitchen.
That's
Mm-hmm.
So
right.
your
Mm-mm.
preparation is your friend.
Miss Scott?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I would like to add to that exactly what she said. And the NutriBullet is a best friend in my household.
Yes.
It's easy for the kids to use, rinse out, and reset. So that's a great thing for them to use while they're making their smoothies with the frozen fruits and things of that nature. But I also wanted to key into a lot of times we're so focused on food, but we also have to be focused on nutrition because sometimes they're not getting the right vitamins and minerals, right? A lot of times we're hearing vitamins, but we need to look in the minerals. We need to look at the minerals for our kids. Are they getting enough magnesium? Vitamin B1 is so important for cognition.
Yes.
It's so important. It's like the major vitamin for brain function. We need to make sure that our kids are getting these nutrients as well as the food.
We're going to have to do a part 2. Miss Fowler.
I'm going to say protein, fiber, and color. If you hit those three,
Yes.
they'll get what they need.
Protein,
Mhm.
fiber, and color. Coach Penny, anyone want to reach you? Because that's what Maddie said. She wants to know how to reach you. How do they reach you?
I am on all social media platforms at Create Your World LLC.
And Miss Scott?
I am on all social media as well as Essie's Heart Healthy Delish.
And Miss Fowler.
You can catch me on Instagram at KitchenBoss606.
I absolutely appreciate each of you ladies being here today and educating us, giving us some information, helping parents. Today's conversation
Yes.
is a reminder that back to school wellness isn't about being perfect. It's about
Mhm.
being prepared. Coach Fanny talked
Yes.
about that. Small, consistent choices can help our students feel better, focus better, and show up with confidence. Thank you so much to our guests, Coach Fanny, Leslie Fowler, and I ain't going to say it again,
I couldn't.
Ashana Scott, for sharing practical strategies and real world insight to help families and communities support healthier students. I'm Twyla Jenkins, the executive producer of the U Chicago Medicine Community Health Focus Hour. I want to do a special thanks to our production manager, Titus Williams, and our board engineer, Robert Taylor. Join us next Saturday at 1 p.m. I will not be on the mic and might be in the studio as we continue bringing health conversations to the forefront. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other.